You're locked in to the hottest station on the planet.
Resistance is futile. The revolution has begun.
You're listening to Rebelpreneur Radio, helping you break the rules and build the business you need for the life you want. And now, broadcasting his pirate signal from somewhere beyond the status quo, here's your host, best-selling author, marketing and media strategist, Ralph Brogden.
Hello and welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio. It's the show that helps you build the business you need so you can live the life you want. I'm Ralph Brogden. As we think about building that business that we need so that we can live the life that we want, what I'm trying to get across is that there is a purpose and a reason for your business beyond just making money. Now, making money is important because it's the money that helps you to create the life that you want and to do the good things that you want to do for your family and your friends. I get that. But if that's the only reason you are in business, just to make money, then once you've made the money, and if you've made any amount of money, then you know this. If not, then you'll learn it soon enough. Money is not enough to satisfy you. It can give you temporary satisfaction, but you've got to have a mission that goes beyond just the money. And have a belief in something that's larger than yourself. Today's guest has really discovered this in a very unique way, and he's going to talk to us about seeking your life's work and alignment, as well as how to reposition your business during these uncertain times that we're living in. And so it's a very timely interview with Martin Ditto. He is the CEO of Ditto Residential. He is leading a leading-edge urban design and development company that he founded in 2008. He is passionate about conceptualizing and creating world-class residences, and he believes that we can build livable spaces that are so powerful they can inspire and change the way people live their daily lives. That's what I'm talking about a mission bigger than just whatever it is you're buying and selling. Very, very powerful. So, Martin Ditto, welcome to Rebelpreneur Radio.
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
How did you get involved? First of all, tell us a little bit about your background and how you grew into this larger awareness of what your business could become.
Sure. So I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, squarely a southern state in the center of the Bible Belt. And after college, traveled a bit. I knew that I wanted to not be in the United States after college, so I went to Venezuela, teach English, and I went to Spain to ride my bike on a path known as the Camino de Santiago. And
I'm familiar with that. Yeah, they made a movie about that, I think.
They did. Yeah, there's a book by Cueto maybe called The Pilgrimage.
Yeah,
and then there's a movie about it called The Way. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
and I went to, when I was at college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I think a lot of people in college are either on their path to medicine or Wall Street. And I studied economics, which is more of a generalist aptitude, and was at a liberal arts college. And when I got out, I really did not know what I wanted to do. I had various businesses as a child or as a young adult, and then worked in college. And then I arrived in D.C. after living in Venezuela and in Spain, and I needed a job in Washington, D.C., where I was living in a basement apartment with some friends from Mississippi. And I ended up taking the second job that was offered to me, which the first job was in the private sector. The second job was in, literally a week later, was for the mayor of D.C., and worked in that job for about a year before realizing that at the lower level, the public sector was not going to be where I wanted to be. And so took a job in real estate development, or initially in construction, and then moving on into development. And through I guess a 7-year journey, ended up starting my own company. But I'm happy to talk about that early career if that's interesting, or move on to the current career.
Yeah, well, I'm interested in this process. Your website talks about what began as a real estate brand, and I've worked with hundreds of real estate brands, commercial property developers, real estate agents, real estate agencies, real estate and property development companies, builders. Very familiar with the industry. I don't know that I have ever heard anyone express a mission as inspiring and compelling as yours. Tell us about how your real estate company and your brand that you started, how it has grown to be much more than just a real estate brand.
Well, it wasn't. It was at some level, it was a need. I had left the corporate real estate world and had gone to Nashville to start a taco restaurant, which is called the Local Taco in Nashville, Tennessee. And my partnership did not work out. And I came back to DC and started doing the only thing that I knew professionally, which was building houses. But I knew I did not want to go back into the corporate world and work for someone. So I literally started during the depths of the recession of 2007 and 8, just renovating homes, and that was what I felt most comfortable doing. And there was, at that time, I wanted to be successful. I remember telling friends, or at least friends told me later, that I would repeat this idea that I wanted to create a platform, and the platform was not really to accomplish anything in specific, but rather to accomplish whatever would interest me. And I wanted to create something that would be scalable. And I don't really remember all the details around that, but that it aligns with my thinking even today. So as I began to build the company, little things started to pop up that kind of were trailblazers for me to follow. Around design initially, and building, renovating houses that had a design edge. And that was fun. You could learn all about, I'd been in the architectural world by being a developer, but when you're a developer, you're not as in the details of literally designing houses. And so I was literally designing houses and literally designing, the lighting locations and, switch locations and outlet locations and, the whole 9 yards. HVAC systems. I mean, when you're renovating houses, you're kind of all things to all people, because you don't have engineers who are doing a lot of the work for you that you do on larger buildings. So the design led to an interest in brand, because I knew that if you have good design, that's great, but if you have a brand to go along with that good design, a good product, you can get more value for it. And so continue to build Ditto as a brand, and then moved on to decide, what the design and brand give you. It gives you an opportunity to create lifestyle. So started to think about our brand as more of a lifestyle brand. And about 2 years ago, I basically decided I didn't want to just be doing traditional real estate development, and it didn't feel as fulfilling to me as it had been. And so started to think about real estate more as a service, right? Started to think about real estate more as a less about bricks and sticks and bricks and kind of the equity side of things, and more about real estate as an experience. And so that's kind of that leads us to where we are today, and that's kind of the path that got me there. But I guess to answer your question, I did, where I am today is not where I was a year ago. It hasn't been a linear path. It's been a trial and error. And, one of the central tenets of the company, the firm that we built is this idea of constant iterative improvement. And it's just a way to continue to evaluate where you are, where you're going. And that's been central to the firm since we built it, 12 years ago.
I love the concept of what you're doing and how this evolved. It wasn't something that you sat down with a marketing strategist and says, okay, we need to come up with a really compelling mission statement today. This was something that was evolved and created out of a desire to do more than just the typical real estate development. You've created a mission that says, in part, that you want to create spaces and experiences to help people live happier, healthier lives. You have changed the way you view real estate from, as you said, sticks and bricks, to real estate as a service, helping people to live, because let's face it, we spend most of our time in our homes, and especially and we're doing this in 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, we're really spending a lot of time in our homes. And so you have found a way to tap into the human side of what you're doing beyond just the physical planning and building of a thing. And what I'm getting at is you have figured out a way not to just be a commodity, not just to be another real estate company, not just to be another property developer, but to find a way to positively impact people's lives. And that kind of segues into what we're talking about in terms of repositioning your business during these uncertain times. You've done that. You've been repositioning your business. How does that work? How should we think about this in terms of what's going on in the world today? How do we need to reposition our business to survive and to thrive during these really crazy times that we're living in?
I think that radical repositionings are dangerous because we never know what we're going to get when you change all the formulas and all the variables. I think that the safest route to a repositioning is a constant repositioning where we're just course correcting when things don't work out or when things that you didn't know were going to work out do work out. So I don't have any magic for what you do during a pandemic except to really focus on. There's a great line in the book Leonard and Levy. I can't quote it, but it basically go back to what the basic human needs, which are a need for community, need for health and wellness, and to define health and wellness. And I define health not as physical health, but mental and physical, emotional, spiritual, all of those things. So I think that in a time like today, when you don't know which way the winds of change in terms of fads and design are changing, but we do know that there's a constant arc towards humanity's need to be healthy. And I guess one could argue that we're in that kind of in a strange time right now where you don't know whether humanity is getting healthier or not. I don't believe that. I believe that even as crazy as times are, these are signs of change, and I think that we are moving towards a healthier time.
And I love the positive outlook, and I agree. I think that we will get through this as other generations have, and we will come out on the other side of it wiser and stronger, and really positioned and poised for growth. Speaking of which, your story really illustrates how your life's work can come into alignment with what you're passionate about. How can we keep that passion and that bigger picture in our hearts? How do we get that into our business and make that a part of our enterprise, whatever it is that we're doing? And it may be real estate, It may be something else. But what lessons can we take away from your experience?
I think it's different for different people. I think to me, what we're talking about is personal health and alignment. And I think that my path has been a again, not a straight line, but it's just constantly trying to connect my personal kind of heart desire with my professional life and my personal life. So for me, like what happened a couple of years ago was I really felt I was in a business partnership with someone with whom I was not aligned, and I didn't know it. I think this person knew it more than I did, and it just led to a series of bad events that occur when we're not in alignment. It's almost biblical, the way that if you continue to live a life that's out of alignment with your soul, that you will pay the price, and there's no way not to. And so, I guess central to my perspective on life is that all the answers that we have, that we need for life, are inside us. And so it's really this idea of like revealing that to you. As Michelangelo carving something out of block, he's just removing everything that's not the final sculpture. And I think that's what our lives are about. It's just shaving away societally tacked on pieces of ourselves that just are not true to self, until what we're left with is something that does feel spiritually aligned with who we are.
And talking about alignment, you mentioned alignment in our business relationships, alignment with our team, alignment with our customers, our clients. Instead of trying to connect with everybody, you're trying to find alignment with people who share your vision, your values, your principles. How does that work in a real estate environment? Who are your ideal clients, and what is the biggest problem that you're solving for them with this new way of doing real estate as a service?
Well, first I'll say that real estate is very transactional, which is can be distasteful. It is distasteful to me because it's not like in other industries like software that can be win-win. And real estate has some of that, and the longer-term partnerships are like that. But in terms of the trading of real estate, it's oftentimes someone has to win for someone to lose. And so I think in aligning oneself with those partners that feel most closely associated with one's way of thinking, it's not easy. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes in not building longer term relationships and not realizing earlier on how important those were. And part of that was just me being on my own and not working in a larger business where I had that guidance. But what has been kind of core to our being as an organization over the past 2 years of business planning has been this idea that we are really a collaborative group, and that everything we ever do will be based on the work of lots of different designers and producers and builders and all kinds of people. And so in that way, alignment is the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters when you're hiring an architect and an interior designer, and you may not think that matters, or when it comes to a structural engineer, but I really think it does. Just in every single facet of the team that builds a building, and there are hundreds of people, thousands if you count, the construction side, who go into building. I mean, even a house. I mean, you don't think about it, but factories have lots of people, and the products that go into a house, and so many people are involved in that process. And so your ability to align your relationships with one's values or company's values is something that I still don't fully appreciate, I should say. It's one of those things that reveals itself throughout one's life.
That is so true. And I think what you said is really critical. And I want our listeners to pay attention to this particularly, is how can you distinguish whatever it is you do, whatever service, whatever product that you provide, how can you distinguish yourself in a way that you are not just a transactional business, but you are relational? how can you rise above just being a generic, ordinary commodity service to being something that is a force for good, a force for helping people to be happier, to be healthier, to be wealthier, if that's your service that you're providing? But how can you create great value and let that be the driving force behind your business, your brand, your organization, everything that you do and everyone that you come into contact with? I think, Martin, that you have done that. You've exemplified that. And it's really, really remarkable to witness this in an industry that really is known for commoditization and just transactional business. You've brought the human element into it. And so congratulations to you and to your team for accomplishing that, and for the fact that you're evolving even now and learning how to do that better and better as you iterate and as you bring in new team members and you work through designs and improvements and looking for other ways. It's just really a great example to follow. I wanted to ask, as our time begins to wind down, what are you working on right now that's got you really excited? What's in the pipeline?
The most exciting thing to me right now is how we can continue to invest in this idea of real estate as a service and real estate as an experience versus real estate as a commodity. I mean, a central tenet of the company, at least from an internal communication side, has always been the decommodification of real estate. That's not something that sells well in the condo world, but it is something that internally we talk about a lot, because it's how we can show ourselves through our work. And this idea that, like, if you're able to present yourself in a way that is most true to your soul, your heart, or whatever. Everyone has a different term from that, depending on how woo-woo you are. But to show yourself in the most accurate and authentic way is the way I think that even in business we can be most successful. So for us, that's just been, I am the namesake of the firm, obviously, and also the leader from a design perspective, but it's also my job to through coaching, and I've been through so many coaching sessions with amazing teachers for many years, and my job is to help people become their best self. And I don't say that I say that in the most committed way that I can. I really believe that. I believe that, and it can be self-serving. I mean, if I help everyone in my company really feel into their own personal power and superstar abilities, then we will be most successful. It just so happens that we'll be most happy, and we'll be have the less amount of stress, and we'll have great communication. Everything kind of like that's the alignment, right? So if you can set the sales for what we can agree on is a good corporate strategy and personality, and then trying to align all of your team members and other third party people, that to me is the best way to create value in what you do. And in our case, that's in brand, and that's in buildings, and that's in product, and ultimately in investing, and then an experience for our residents. Excellent words of wisdom from Martin Ditto. He is the CEO of Ditto Residential, a leading-edge urban design and development company founded in 2008. He is passionate about conceptualizing and creating world-class residences, and he believes that we can build livable spaces that are so powerful they can inspire and change the way people live their daily lives. Now, if you want to find out more, go to dittodc.com, and we will have that link on the Rebelpreneur website as well. Martin, it's been a real pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us here on Rebelpreneur Radio. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. I enjoyed it.
You've been listening to Rebelpreneur Radio with Ralph Brogden. Download the show notes and much more at rebelpreneur.com.